Welcome to the webinar. It's Andrea and I am so excited. I did promise 30 minutes, so I am going to do my best, but we are going to be covering a lot. So let's get started. We are recording this for everybody. You guys, you're in the right place if you feel like this right now, right? We are all overwhelmed. The 2019-2020 school year has been one like no other. You couldn't have predicted it, even if you tried. And so we're all feeling a little bit overwhelmed. I can't help with everything, but I can help with social media. And so that's what we're here to do today. First of all, webinar video recording. I just hit the record button. And these slides are all going to be emailed to you tonight after my evening presentation. So just know it's great to take notes, but you are going to get the recording and the slides. You guys, I have these linked to high heavens. So anything that you see with blog articles and things, resources that I'm going to have, they're linked. So you're going to be able to come back to the slides to grab all of it. Now, this is going to be a little bit different than some of my webinars in that I am trying to go quickly through the content. So if you have a question, I need you to use that Q&A bubble right there, and then it's going to bring up a window and you're going to ask your question. I'm going to be asking some questions throughout and ask for you to use the chat bar, but I'm going to tell you all the questions that come up, I'm going to specifically answer those at the end. I'm not going to leave until my last question's answered. You can leave whenever you want, but I'm not going to leave until all the questions are answered. So I promise that we are going to get to it, but the way to submit those questions is through that Q&A bar. You can follow me at Andrea Gribble, use the hashtag SchoolPR, and guess what? I love prizes. So today, if you tweet out a key takeaway from today's webinar and just use the hashtag SchoolPR, and tag me at Andrea Gribble. One winner, I'm going to pick that winner by tomorrow. One winner is going to get a mug and a pen sent to them. So I'll mail that out right to your house. That's a great mug, man. It keeps your coffee hot when you got a busy day and don't have time to drink it until the afternoon, which is awesome. So who am I? I'm the smiley girl that likes to wear purple. No, I'm not a Viking fan, but my husband is. We're talking because of something that happened to me on a Monday in 2013. It was right before Thanksgiving, November 18th. I walked into work that day and found out my job had been eliminated. I was a single mom of two little girls, and I was crushed. But the Facebook post that I shared, look at what it said. I'm excited to see where it will be taking me now. Well, truth be told, over the next year, I was scared to be the Dickens, right? That beautiful house that's in the middle, a few months in, I had to sell that house and move in with my parents. I'm telling you, it was not easy. That's how little my kids were. Now, like, the guy in the orange just graduated, so it's crazy. But I know that God did have a plan, and I am so blessed to be with you now. I founded a company called Social School for EDU. I started doing social media, found out schools had a need, and oh my gosh, now we partner with 250 districts, more than 250 districts across the country. I do have 6 kids. It's a blended family, 2 daughters, 4 stepsons. I'm a blogger, I'm a podcaster, I'm a storyteller, I'm a talker, right? You know that. And social media is really all about celebrating your school one story at a time. I know you communicate in a lot of ways, but when it comes down to social media, we're really about celebration. We're also about connecting. We've really had to connect our communities in these last several months with COVID-19 school closures. And our mission at Social School for EDU, very simple. We celebrate students and we connect communities. We really give your community a front row seat to the amazing things happening at your school. We have a membership program, we do coaching, we do full management for 90 schools across the country. So we serve schools in a ton of ways. The only reason we're talking is because, guys, I have a business. I share a lot of free content out there and I love to do it. But the whole reason I can do the free content is because we have a business behind us. Did you know that I have a team of 30? This is a part of my team, but a team dedicated to telling stories, learning all we can about maximizing the use of social media to celebrate the great things happening at your school. Now, if you want a certificate of completion, you can get that. Actually, you just are going to submit a survey. You're going to get it emailed to you tonight with the recording of the webinar, with the slides, and then if you want a certificate of completion for your PD file, you can get that. That's all free today. I will share that I am sharing a new program announcement at the end of this presentation. Again, the reason that I can share free content is because we do have a business. It's really exciting. Anybody who's a current client, they don't have to worry about that because this is all included, but I'm really excited to share that. And that'll be right at the end before we break into all of the questions. So let's get in. 5 steps to take this summer to improve social media for next fall. If you're like me, you're a little bit dialed in all the time, even though you want to take a break. And I do hope you take a break. You deserve a break, okay? But as you are maybe laying on the beach or in a hammock, you know, reading a book, sometimes you're on your phone, and there are simple things that we're going to talk about that you could actually look at, and one of them being following other schools to get some ideas and brainstorm, and then be able to make your social media better. So after you've kind of gotten that deep breath, we're going to start looking forward. These are the 5 things we're going to go through. It was hard for me to pick exactly 5. Like I said, I like to talk. Reflect, review, set priorities. We're going to talk about process and platforms, upping your video skills, focusing on engagement, and building your PLN, your personal learning network. First of all, we got to look back before we look forward. And so what I want you to do, and it doesn't have to be right now, but right after this, we need you to reflect. How do you feel about your social media strategy for your school? What's really working well? What isn't working well? Are you constantly feeling overwhelmed? Anybody on here, I'm looking at the chat bar now, anybody on here like kind of constantly feeling overwhelmed with their social media? Are you feeling like you're always missing something? I see some people raising hands, so yeah, it's you, and you can just, yeah, preach. Do you have the support of your administration? That's a really important thing. What skills do you think would make things better? So you guys, I'm a big believer in writing things down, not just typing them out, but actually pen to paper. I want you to really think about social media over this last school year. Really write down, how do I feel? What's working well? What isn't working well? Do I have the support I need? What skills could make things better? Something magic happens when you actually write things down. And I want you to set a timer. Maybe you set a timer for 20 minutes. Make yourself write for 20 minutes on this, because you'll be surprised at what shows up. But it's really, really important to reflect on that before we move forward. Burnout is a big thing. Wellness, mental health, all of that. I am a big believer in trying to put that back in to school PR, into social media, and we're going to talk about that today, some techniques. After you kind of reflect, I want you to review. And again, you're going to get all these slides, right? How often do you review data? You guys, how often are you looking at data? How often are you looking at metrics? And how often are you sharing it? So Ashley, you look at it weekly. Are you sharing it weekly, or do you just review it? Because we should be sharing it with others. You know, we look at data weekly. We put things out every quarter where we're sharing things with school board members, with our staff, to let them know. I think awesome. I see a lot of monthly. I see sharing, not really. So I think that reviewing constantly, but sharing not really. So sharing would be really helpful. Just so you know, we want to grow Facebook fans, right? This is a quick tip. These are all linked, okay? This is just how to add Facebook fans. But, you know, we're reaching in some of our districts 6, 7, 8, 10,000 people every week. Just sharing those metrics sometimes is enough to get support of people who don't support you right now. We're posting in this little school in Nebraska, Superior, Nebraska, 400 students K through 12. We're reaching almost 7,000 people. That is impressive. So that's awesome. Now, when you break it down into what you should be looking at, again, I'm going to go through this really fast, but Facebook, we look at total fans, we look at weekly reach, we look at number of posts, we look at engagement. You could spend all day long, all week, just looking at metrics in social media. But there's some key ones that you want to pay attention to. Total fans, our goal is to match your enrollment. If you have 2,000 students K through 12, you want to at least have 2,000 fans on your Facebook page. If you're not there yet, work to get there. Obviously, if you have 50,000 kids, I'm not sure if any of you have that many students, that's going to be harder to get to, right? But it is possible. So that's your goal. Your weekly reach that you can get within Facebook, your goal is to be 4 times the number of fans. How do I know this? Because I look at social media on hundreds of pages because we're we're admins of that many pages. So a great goal is to get 4 times your number of fans. You got 500 fans, you want to reach every week, you want to reach 2,000 people. Number of Alexis Facebook fans, followers, which one's more important? Why? We do fans. Fans and followers are usually going to be pretty close, doesn't really matter. Number of posts on Facebook. During the summer, it's going to be less. We say 1 per day. We say 1 per day during the week. We don't post a lot on weekends. There's less engagement there. 2, at least twice a day in the school year. We average closer to 3 posts a day during the school year. Typical, I would say COVID, school closures, it wasn't that much. But you do want a consistency there. And your engagement ultimately drives weekly reach. And so, the more engaged, and we're going to talk about that later, the more people you're going to reach. So within Facebook, you go into insights, you go on your overview, you're going to be able to look at like your weekly post reach. You can go into how many likes, and you could like look and compare. You can set up different time frames there. You can compare how you've grown from last year, okay? You can look at posts and when your posts are online, post types, the top posts that you have. I love looking at post types because it actually tells you what types of posts are reaching the most people. Videos on the top, that's why we're talking about video. You guys, schools that are sharing at least 1 video per week on Facebook are reaching way more people than schools that only post 1 video per month. Okay, 1 video per week is an awesome, awesome goal. You can also compare yourself to other schools around you, maybe other schools similar to your size, but you're going to be able to, even without being an admin on their page, you're going to be able to look at that. Tina's just asking, and again, just make sure, ask those questions that you definitely want answered in your Q&A box. Live videos are just pre-recorded. Both. That counts everything, but you definitely, pre-recorded video is fine to share as well. Live video is doing well as well. Instagram, total followers, post reach, looking at your activity, looking at your audience. So when you're on your Instagram page, first of all, make sure that you have insights available. If you don't, your page isn't set up as a business account. It needs to be in order to get these insights. But you'll be able to actually look at all of your posts like over the last year, and you can look at, hey, what posts were the most popular? You know what we do then when we find popular type posts, we try to post more of that, right? And you can break that down and look at it in different sections. You can look at stories. Those are only available for up to 14 days, the stats on those. You can look at old stories. They're in your archive section. You can get a lot of insights, right? Where are people located? What's the age range? Spoiler alert, we thought all the kids were on Instagram. Look at ours. It's 25 to 34 and 35 to 44 are some of the top ones. So it's moms, right? So it's moms and kids. But it's important to look at those things. And Twitter, I'm kind of with some of these. Best tool, quick, easy videos. And we're going to talk about that, Tracy. We're going to talk about videos, so don't worry. Twitter, total followers, number of tweets, tweet impressions, and mentions. You can get all of these stats within there, and you can even scroll back and look by month, and you might want to go back to when school was still in session and kind of look at how you were doing then. Review, popular posts, do more of those. Low reach posts, do less of those. Video, right? We want video. We want Facebook and Instagram stories. You're going to look at your posting times. You're going to try, you're going to pivot, you're going to fail, you're going to improve. Social media is changing all the time, you guys. So you've got to keep moving. You got to keep trying things. You got to look at the data. You got to try some new things and go from there. And then what I want you to do is set some goals and priorities. So my friend Ursula Menchez wrote a book called One Great Goal. You make a list of 10 social media goals, okay? You want to add Instagram, okay? You want to, maybe you want to implement a student social media role at your district. You know, you've got a lot, you want to grow your Facebook fans to this amount. You make a list of your 10 goals, and then I want you to scratch out 5, or basically circle the top 5, and then scratch out 2 more so that you're left with 3 goals. And this I'm preaching a little bit to you, Jamie, because I know, Jamie, you like to have a lot of goals. You need to just circle the one goal that is going to have the most impact. A lot of you are feeling overwhelmed. If you can, what you'll be surprised with is if you can accomplish that one goal, maybe it's getting your leadership team on board. If you can accomplish that one goal, some of those other goals are going to happen too. And so you're going to be able to reach those as well. And so that's going to be really powerful. So now that we've looked back, and again, just a reminder, Jamie's here, she can hear me. Q&A, okay? Ask those questions, and make sure, you know, if you guys are watching the chat bar, you can answer each other, but I want you to stay focused. We've got almost 200 people on now. I want us to stay focused, so ask in the Q&A bar. Don't forget, if you're on Twitter, and if you're not on Twitter, you need to be, tweet out those things, because I'm going to give one lucky winner that mug. Process and platforms. This will save your sanity. If you were always feeling overwhelmed, we got to look at this. And I need to know in the chat bar right now, how do I get content to share on social media? So if you run social media for your district, for your school, how are you getting content? You're following hashtags, Nicole, maybe? You know, how else is everybody else getting content? Well, I'm going to tell you, we've been doing this a long time, 6 years. Creating one main system to get content is key. We set up an email address, social media at, you know, ourschool.com. We get content from middle school, elementary school, high school sports teams. That goes to our account manager. They make the post, they upload the video, they monitor the conversation, okay? We are not getting it in text messages. Well, sometimes they try to do text messages, Facebook messages, right? DMs, all of this, you know, these different ways. And guess what that creates? It creates chaos. So setting up a process, guys, I'm a chemistry major, so I'm big on like processes, systems, like all the, you know, mathematical type stuff. We've got to put this in place, and it will create success. And you ask your faculty and staff, email in one thing a month, snap a photo, give me a little description, send it to this email. Avoid texting, Facebook messages, carrier pigeon, because guess what? Yeah, Jamie gets it everywhere. Too accommodating. You're too accommodating, and you're setting yourself up for failure, because you're going to miss something because you can't find it. The other thing is you work inside of your district likely, but how many emails do you get a day? You know, a lot, right? You've probably even more now because we're not physically together. So separating what you get for everything else and what you get for social media can be very cumbersome. So keeping them separate is important. And it's also important because guess what? You deserve to take a vacation. And if you're on vacation, nobody else is going to be checking your email. Nobody else is going to be checking your text messages or your Facebook messages. So if you don't have this system, you are setting yourself up for failure, okay? So I want you to set up an email address. You, as a social media manager, this is a lovely picture of Shayla on our team. She's 7 days per week aware, but she's not necessarily looking at that email inbox 7 days a week. Burnout is real, right? She's tech savvy, great with grammar, very creative, but we've got to create a process where you control social media and social media doesn't control you. Can I get like an amen? Right? Like, oh my God, I remember when I first started, everybody's raising their hands, 2 hands up to the ceiling. I remember I'd be sitting out like at a campfire and I'd be like, oh my gosh, what if something, you know, somebody says something bad, which normally doesn't happen, although it can, right? But you've got to create a process where you control social media and social media doesn't control you. This is another way. This is a quick tip that'll save you a bunch of time. Guys, I have like 25 short 2-minute or less video tips out there on my YouTube channel. Check those out. Another way to help this process is to train your staff. Well, we've got a ton of free resources that you can share. You guys, every single one of these, they're linked. You can download these and email them out to your staff. 100 ideas, 50 more ideas, 30 ideas for Facebook Live. I don't know what school is going to look like in the fall. We might still be closed down. This was a special list of 50 ideas just for temporarily closed schools. So this is great. And then here's some other resources: do's and don'ts for staff, social media guidelines for school members, school board members, why I feel, you know, one district page is important, especially if you've got like less than 10,000 students. We do have this one-page guide also. You can download that. That's got some main things that you should think about in order to have a successful social media program. Platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, others. So what's your number one platform? Everybody tell me in the bar. All right, what's your number one platform where you reach the most people? Facebook, 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 Facebook. Oh my gosh. Yes, Facebook is number one. Mic drop, end of story. If you're feeling overwhelmed and you like can't keep up with all of your channels, sometimes eliminating is going to be better than trying to continue to juggle. So that's the first permission I'm going to give. This has all the slides of who you can reach where: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Come back to this later, but I'm giving you permission. It is okay. There are a lot of schools that have great presence that only have Facebook, and that is okay. All right, I gotta keep moving. Up your video skills, you guys. We've got to up our video skills because they reach a lot of people on our channels. So number one, always upload natively in the platform. Don't post a YouTube link on Facebook and think that that is treated as a video. Facebook treats that as a link, and it's not going to show it to as many people because Facebook's owned by Facebook and YouTube's owned by Google, and they are, you know, competing. So always upload natively. Beware of copyright music. Oh my gosh, please beware of copyright music. Closed captioning. Unedited video is totally okay. Live video is okay. You know, all of that. Okay, so tools for your video. These are all directly linked. Some of them are free. Some of them are very low cost. If you have Adobe Suite for your school district, that Adobe Premiere Rush is included. It's an awesome editing tool. I use Camtasia. I buy it. It's like $150. I'm a PC user, right? I'm not a Mac user, so I use Camtasia, which costs a little bit of money. But this is what I'm telling you. You don't need to master all of these tools. All you got to do is figure out how to use one and then use that to tell your stories. My challenge to you for video right now is now's the time, because when you are in crunch time, you usually are like, okay, this event happened and now by tonight, I got to share a video about it. So my challenge to you is make a short school recap video of photos from last school year. Put those in with some words and just the pictures, even if you don't want to play around with video right now, and put that together and just learn how to use the tool. And then guess what? You're going to be better equipped the next time that you have to use it. So that's really important. You can use the 33 score in English on ACT is not working today. I love that, Kelsey. Sometimes it doesn't work when we're doing social media either. Up your video skills. You can use videos to inform, educate, entertain. You guys, I think video is going to be key right now to communicate with your community, your parents, your students, about next school year. To me, going on a video as a school leader, I think would to say, you know what? We know that you may be wondering what's going to happen with school next year, and we're wondering too. And we are really working hard to make those plans with the state and with the government, all of that. And we're going to make sure that you're safe. But I'm going to promise you this: when we know what we're going to do, you're going to know. We're going to let you know what it's going to look like and how we can help you. I think that video would go a long way. Throughout the school closures, we had a lot of awesome videos going on, just authentic, educating. Again, these videos are all linked. There's a bunch of links here that can give you examples of what other people have done. And inside our membership group, some of you are in our membership group. Remember, all the webinars I've ever done, there's hundreds, are inside the membership group. So you guys can take a look at, shoot and edit video like a pro, 10 tips for video storytelling on social media, some video editing basics, how to upload. So we've got all of that for you. Okay, this is really important. Focusing on engagement. You guys, social media is meant to be social. It's not meant to be one-way communication, okay? You're not just blasting things out. You want it to be social, human to human. build relationships. So you can do that in many ways on your school's page. Social voice in writing, emojis, ask for it, UGC, which is a coined term for user-generated content, and Instagram stories. You guys, I'm going to be going through this quick because we've got a lot to cover in 5 minutes, and I'm not going to get done in 5 minutes, but it's going to be close to that. Social voice in writing, it's conversational, it's not AP style. So that 33 in English, you know, it's not perfect. It's conversational. You ask questions. We got a great blog that's linked right here on how to use creative writing to drive engagement. That article actually includes like how to start a post. Check this out. Who do you recognize, right? That's like asking them a question. Hashtag Throwback Thursday. I hope you're doing hashtag Throwback Thursday, some all-stars. Caught red-handed for reading. Help us caption this photo, right? And hoping that it's all politically correct and everything else. Our kids are awesome, wouldn't you agree? So using that social voice in writing, you really need to work on that. Emojis also lead to more engagement. It's fun, it's relatable. On your desktop, if you're doing most of your posts from your desktop, emojipedia.org is actually where you can copy those emojis and put those in. And then there's a whole blog on that, on emojis. It's like statistically proven that there's more engagement. I love like TCS, Tuscaloosa City Schools. They actually use the Apple emoji in their name, their Twitter handle. Isn't that awesome? So if you can use something related to your district, you're the Eagles, or even if like your color is like blue and yellow, if the blue heart and the yellow heart, right, they're over to the right hand side, it was a red, white, and blue day. That's awesome. So emojis. Ask for it. Comment below with a clap, 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 right? Make it easy, sometimes text only. So here's some examples. Love this example from Kristen. Not sure if she's on right now. She's brilliant. From Reading. She had a Happy Teacher Appreciation Week, and then they're doing a virtual applause. So we'll start it with all these claps. Look at 181 comments. Would anybody freak out if they had 181 comments? Now, granted, she has about 20,000 followers, but dude, she doesn't normally get 181. It's fun, right? And so that was a great idea. We do staff features, and this one happens to be my mom, who just, she's just retiring this year, started back when I was in kindergarten. Everybody loves my mom because she's like the school nurse lady too. 49 comments. We didn't even ask for people to comment, but they of course just thank them, and what a wonderful lady and very deserving. We kind of skipped over with this with a lot of our schools, but we usually do an alumni roll call. It's so easy. What year did you graduate? Mineral Point at 145 comments. Check that out. That is so cool. And again, these are all linked, so you're going to be able to go to those. Make it easy for them to respond. Like everybody likes to respond A, B, C, or D, right? So that was on my school page or my business page. How could you ask questions on your district page that could encourage engagement? That one had 10 comments, which is pretty good for me. My membership group, they were helping me choose the image for my new podcast. And so we did A, B, or C, C or D, and then I had 47 comments, which was awesome. And then somebody just did the roll call, and it was a huge success. Just text block. It breaks it up. It looks a little bit different on your school page. Would you please try it? I was at an event, and they just said, just type this in, Brussels sprouts, yes or no. So I'm like, okay, I'll do it. 110 comments. You guys, people are passionate about their Brussels sprouts. So what can this teach you about your school? You could ask different things. We did like a chili, like noodles or no, right? Because some people don't realize that you do or don't put noodles in your chili. So it's fun. It might be a little bit related to like a fundraiser or something like that, but that can drive some engagement. User-generated content is usually like some type of contest. We're asking people to submit things. They can tag your page. You can submit photos. This was an awesome one from Sewickley Academy. They did weekly winners. I loved it when they got their pets involved. This little girl did a cheer. It's so cute. It's linked, so you guys can check out this. This is another great idea. Up in Hayward, they do a Get Caught campaign. So like every Friday, they encourage their business partners to wear Hayward Hurricane gear. And then if they go out and get caught, wearing it, then they get some kind of a prize. Isn't that awesome? And then, you know, so really cool way of getting people engaged. Instagram stories. Not going to dive deep into this one at all because I don't have time, but here's a bunch of pages to look at for some examples. Instagram stories live for 24 hours, but you can share highlights, and there are so many ways to make that interactive. What I've just been inspired by schools that are really using it to listen to their students. So, and this was a really cute idea. They did a pet showdown, and so that was super cute. I think they were like pets of the staff members. You can ask questions, you know, and really find out how they're doing, and then end up asking questions and maybe creating content off of that. Ton more stories instead of direct posts, Tracy, because people are really absorbing stories way more than they are posts. So there's some stats in some of these articles that you can look at. We also have some special skills sessions in our membership group. We actually interviewed 2 students that were contributors at Superior, Nebraska, and we talked through how to use Instagram stories from a principal's point of view. So actual some of the how-to. Just so you know, with Instagram stories, you don't necessarily have to be the person, but you could have a student contributor, or you could have somebody like in your middle school or high school staff that helps run the stories for you. Very, very important. And those are great questions. Just keep asking those in the Q&A bar, and I'll come back to them. Number 5, build your personal learning network. You guys, it is essential for you to keep up with social media, to have connections out there. I knew nothing about school PR when I started, absolutely nothing, but I reached out, I grabbed onto people like a Tracy Jens out of North Dakota. I mean, there's no way that you or I should know Tracy, but Tracy has done an amazing job of connecting herself with the leaders from around the country, and now she just got appointed to the NSPRA board in part of my region. She's like the VP of our region, which is super cool. But like she shares, school PR is a second family. There's always someone to talk to, bounce ideas off of, and help in an emergency. So grateful for my second family. You guys, building this is free. Like a lot of this is totally free. You just have to reach out. Twitter's the #1 spot that you should be. You should follow other schools and brands. Again, if you didn't copy your like Facebook page or your Instagram page into the chat bar, I want you to, because that's going to help us all have new pages that we can follow. Twitter, follow #SchoolPR. Participate in the #K12PR chat, which happens every other Tuesday. It's happening next Tuesday. There's blogs, there's free webinars, there's a lot out there to pay attention to. Now, for me, I have a lot of free content for you. I just started a podcast, but there's other podcasts to listen to, okay? This actually links to an article of 8 podcasts that I listen to learn from that I wrote before I launched my podcast. But that podcast is free. I pick the brains of leaders from across the country. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I share simple tips, like less than 2 minutes, that might teach you something that'll be like, oh my gosh, that really helps my school. I want to make your job easier. I want to help celebrate your school, your parent or your students with more people. And that's what the goal of that YouTube channel is. Search out my blogs. I have written out blogs, and yeah, definitely if you have other, free spots that you go, please put those in the chat too. That would be awesome. All right. Now, eventually it's time to invest, right? And I know investing can be scary. It's really scary right now because we don't know what's happening with budgets. But all I know is every time I've made an investment in myself, which is what you're doing when you do a personal, learning network, that it's been almost priceless of what I've been able to get back. So there's statewide organizations, there's NSPRA. So NSPRA is the National School Public Relations. There's also your state chapters, like Wisconsin has WISPRA and Minnesota has MINSPRA, right? And Alabama has ALSPRA. You can take online courses, right? And you're gonna meet amazing people, you're gonna learn from them, and they're going to share the dickens out of what they've already produced so that it makes your job so much easier. Now, I do have 2 programs that I just want to touch on. I've shared a few about the membership program that we have. So this is one way that you can invest in your personal learning network. Our membership program, it's a private Facebook group. It's monthly skills sessions. It's roundtable discussions. There's contests. There's daily inspiration. You guys, this is the best way that I can support the the many followers we have with 365-day support is inside this group. It's amazing. Now, we're just launching a webinar pass, and so I want to share that, and that's been because of a request from many of you followers, and so I'm going to be sharing that in just a minute. On my website, you can go to membership, you can go to webinars. In the follow-up email, I'll have some direct links to this, okay? So before we get to questions, again, the reason why I can do so much for free is because we do have a business model, right? I've got 6 kids, and so we do have some services, and they are very affordable and they are very impactful. So our new program is basically our webinars, which this is kind of like a monthly webinar, right? I've been doing webinars to help schools with their social media since 2016. Just in that program, there's more than 50 topics that were offered, and all of them were free, even though it cost me money and time and resources and my Zoom subscription and, you know, all of that, but everything was free, and we've got so many great topics. So, and we've got great feedback like this. Tracy, I love this testimonial of, she took 4 pages of notes. Does anybody have 4 pages of notes right now? I'm not sure. But solid, tangible action items that don't simply add to my to-do list, but are palatable, and then she sees success, which that's what we want. We want you to win, right? Ariana shared out of Virginia that I didn't work with schools before. And so now, you know, having this resource, it's all the stuff that I need. And Kelly, I think Kelly's from Tahoe, you know, you help me do a better job for my district, and you're always equipping us with new ideas, and really to be the best school PR people we can be, which is powerful. So last year, all year long, I let people know that the webinars were only going to be available to my membership group. There's just a lot that goes into them, so I'm only going to offer them to the membership group. But when the membership group, it's awesome, and I still am going to encourage it, but it's $795 a year, and people are like, it's not in my budget. I can't afford that. Even if it is a PD thing, like, I'm not going to be able to convince them. So it was through some networking, and Pam is actually down in the corner there. She just said, what about a webinar pass? Like, you know, maybe we could just buy, you know, each episode or whatever. Well, I didn't want to do that because of management, but I did come up with this webinar pass. So if you can dedicate 1 hour a month to developing your school social media skill set, this is going to be for you. It's a webinar only pass. It includes live access to the content, lifetime access to the recordings and all the other resources and the slides and everything for our 2020-2021 lineup, which I'm going to share with you at the start of. The webinar pass is $295 per person, but if you sign up by June 30th, we don't invoice you until July. Okay, you sign up now, you don't get actually invoiced until July, you save $100. So it's only $195. Special note, again, current clients of Social School for EDU. If you're a member already, if you're a coaching client, if you're a management client, this doesn't pertain to you because you already get everything that we offer. So you don't have to worry about that. You can check this out now. It should be live on my website under services/webinars, but I will also link it in the email that you're going to get tonight. You guys look at this lineup. So we know that we've got a lot of uncertainty with school starting. So Janet Swachkowski, she's like world famous in the NSPRA, like school communications world. She's going to be talking about back to school communication amid the COVID-19 uncertainty. Then in August, Heidi is, she was supposed to do this presentation last year and we couldn't. This is so important. The power of social media using a lens of equity. That's going to be key. And just so you guys know, if you're listening to my podcast, I've got a couple episodes coming up that I've scheduled with some amazing, brilliant, way more brilliant than me guests that we're going to be talking about equity and some of the racial tensions that have been going on, and we're going to give you some tangible stuff to hold on to when it comes to social media, okay? So Heidi's talking about that. Then Justin Deering, he's talking about podcasting. So if you're considering a podcast for your school. Erica Chandler, brilliant Erica Chandler, she's going to be talking about secrets of a one-person school PR office. A lot of you are one school PR. I kind of saw that over there. November, Tova Tupper is going to be breaking down Instagram stories for schools. December, Justin's going to be talking about social media. Has your social media become antisocial? Justin Elbert, I swear, from Texas. I swear I could probably feature him every month because he's that brilliant. But anyways, and then we're going to have more topics in January through May that will come up based on need and based on request, right? So you get all of that live interaction, webinar recordings. It's not going to be quite as rushed as this one because we're going to have a full hour at least. You get lifetime access. This is for full-time school communicators, part-time, administrative assistants, library, whoever's involved in social media for your schools, principals, superintendents, that's who this ticket is for. So again, $295, but if you purchase it before June 30th, it's only $195 for the whole year. Virtual PD is going to be so important this school year. So it's really going to be, we deliver it right to your desk, and you can join live, but you also get lifetime unlimited access. If you want more, I see some of you talking about membership. You guys, this really, I do feel is the best way that I'm supporting schools, and I'm so excited to offer this. So it's the best tool I've found to be able to reach through that computer and help with the frustrations that happen. You guys, I knew nothing about social media. I fought my way through it and figured a ton of stuff out over the last 6.5 years. You can have the fast pass to everything that we've learned and continue to learn through this program. Tawn, who I just saw this morning on our Social Buzz call, kind of an office hour call, but she's done amazing things where really went from a minimal social media presence, disengaged audience to flourishing, right? All I'm saying is right now, if you want to sign up for new members before the end of the month, I'm also going to let you save $100. So by the way, you can get all the details on my website, and again, I'll link it, but that allows up to 3 people from your school or district to be part of the membership program. So, if you think of the webinar pass being per person, this is basically $695 for 3 people. So it might be perceived as a better value. It's a way better way for me to support you. But when you do sign up, it's just through a Google form, and you don't pay right away. So you can pay with credit card, you can pay with check, you can pay however you want, but you don't pay right away when you sign up, okay? So this is awesome. These are the 2 specials. You complete the survey. So tonight, you watch your email. Tonight, you're going to get an email that has a simple survey, and then we're going to email you this nice certificate of completion along with the recording, along with the slides. Remember, all these slides had all of these links, which is awesome. Okay, so we've lost a few people, but I am going back to my Q&A bar. So that's where I'm going top to bottom. So again, if you have more questions that you want me to answer, I will scroll back in the chat bar after this. And if you have to jump off, that's okay. I'm going to continue to record this. So you can consume the Q&A section when you get the recording if you want. But Jamie, all the time, okay, she tries to do it monthly in regards to reviewing your metrics. So that's awesome. Maria asks, any different strategies to engage students on Twitter and Instagram? How do we capture them as followers? So the more you use social media, obviously the better. But I don't know where your students are at. Most of our schools, Instagram are your followers, or Instagram is where students are at. Obviously they're on TikTok too, right? And Snapchat. You can use those. Some of your schools may use those, but Instagram has been a great spot, Instagram stories. I'll tell you the #1 way to grab more Instagram followers, Maria, is to get student contributors. If you can get students taking over your Instagram even for a day, or to be continual Instagram providers, you're really going to do some good. Let's see, Instagram, I don't know if it's this one. Hang on. I'm just going to bear with me. I think this one actually has a student contributor. No, it doesn't. We have a blog that talks about Instagram contributors and setting up a program for your school. You guys, on this resources tab on my website, all these things are free on here. Okay, so I would suggest, Maria, that you download this student contributor game plan. So I don't know if I can, okay. Okay, I don't know how to copy that in there right now, but I'll get that to you. That is going to be a good one for you to download, and so that is key. You know, the more you're after it, hashtag, if do you use it, do you have a school hashtag, Maria? I hope you have a school hashtag. That'll help get people involved. But the more you can include students themselves, giving them a voice, featuring them, that will definitely help. How much time do you dedicate to social media per week? Ian asked. That's a great question, because you could spend all the time in the world or you could limit it. We are really big on systems. We're actually working through a pilot program right now that's training so we train all of our account managers. Like I said, we have 30 of them. And so on our About page, you can kind of scroll through, you know, 5 to 10 hours a week. You can do it in 5 to 10 hours a week if you have a system, but you have to have a system of getting content. You have to have a system for creating the graphics and some of those things that you need. So you really have to systematize it. Plus you have to spend 5 minutes here and 10 minutes there checking in on posts, right? What has somebody commented? Did somebody ask a question? Some of those things. And so, you know, for a district even the size, if you're only doing social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, you can do it in, like I said, like 5 to 10 hours per week, but it takes some discipline, takes some training. So I hope that helps, Ian. Kim, we have email in place, but staff still text and email things. Definitely a challenge to keep it all together. Yeah, don't you wonder, like, where did I get that? Like, I can't find what I was going to share. You guys, this works for, the other thing that this is nice for is when we work with a school, and let's just say we get them started, and we've got a couple schools that are actually hiring full-time or part-time communications people, which is awesome. I want every school to have a school PR person, but it's not possible for all of our schools to have that. And so we make a good bridge in order, you know, in regards to our management service. But if they don't use us anymore, like one of our schools is changing over, Cecilia, maybe you're still on here, she can still use this same system because we set up that social media email address, and she just needs to know the password, and then she starts watching that. And so you're able to set up a system that from year to year to year, no matter who's in charge of your social media, it stays the same for the rest of your staff. And you have to set boundaries with texting things or direct messaging or any of that. It is going to take practice and some discipline on your part, because, oh my gosh, you know, Rhonda's my friend. And so of course she's just texting it to me, and she's not quite tech savvy. And so I just want, you will thank yourself later if you set up those systems. And remember, if you're on vacation and somebody else is checking this email address, you're going to take that text message. Megan, do you ask schools to have one person be responsible for sending that content? I have a lot of teachers that want to just talk about what they are doing. So Megan, if you're still on, Megan Dorsey, what, I'm not sure exactly what you mean, but for sending content to us, that's everybody. We want to tell the school district story from everybody, but we do have one person. We recommend having one person that actually manages, and because you're strategically like posting at certain times of the day, you want to have a plan. You've got, you know, every Thursday morning at 6 is always a throwback Thursday, and every Tuesday night we're doing one of our student features, and every Monday morning is our motivational Monday you know, photo. So it is important. So Megan, I have a lot of teachers who like to showboat. You are in a rare spot because most of our teachers are so humble. So it is good that they want to, if they have their own social channels, like let's just say you let them have a classroom page, or you let them have their own Twitter account, awesome. Share that stuff. But then you really want to say, hey, I want to share 1 to 2 things a month from you. So if you're going to email me every other day with something awesome happening from your classroom, I'm sorry, I would encourage them to set up their own Twitter account or their own Instagram page that they can show the pictures of their students and what they're doing all the time, all day long. But I wouldn't say that you know, you're going to have to shut them down a little bit in regards to sending you stuff to post from their area. That would be my recommendation. I have 17 schools and you get overwhelmed. Yeah. I don't know if you have, you know, if you got 17 schools, there's only so much that you can share from each school. There might be some different methods that you have to use in regards to grabbing content from other pages, but I do want to tell you, Megan, that if you share stuff from other pages onto your school page, it's not going to reach as many people. Do you have a guide for teachers on their own socials? Well, of course we do. Reseam, yes, we do. So I will, that was actually already linked in our, right here. This has do's and don'ts for staff running their own social media pages. So boom, there you go. All right, gonna dismiss this. We're doing really good, you guys. How do you publicize dedicated email address, website, social media post, and other? So Alexis, that dedicated email address is mainly internal. You want to be careful about handing it out to everybody. So I really recommend that at the beginning of your school year, you get at least 10 minutes. That's all you need is 10 minutes in front of everybody where you talk about the importance of celebrating the great things happening at our school, and you are a part of it. We actually, in our membership group, we share exactly all of our slides and a recording to what we present to our schools when we launch with them, so that you can pull it and do it there. But physically just telling them, and then this is my best trick, Alexis. When you're in front of them, you say, right now I want you to send a test email to this email address, socialmedia at, you know, newauburn.k12.wi.us, because then when they actually have something to email to you, all they have to do is type in SOC. They just got to remember social media, SOC, that email already pops up. Okay. You can also share out little cards that they could put like on their desk. Of course, not everybody's at school right now at their classroom, but there are some suggestions there, and I'll try to send those in the email wrap up of how to share that. What I really like about one of the examples is it gives like a blank, like a fill in the blank, almost Mad Lib, like today we did blank to learn blank. And so it's like, it's almost written for them so that it makes it easier for you to post on social media. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily put it out on a social media post unless you were looking for content, like for a UGC contest or something where you needed that information out for everybody. I wouldn't necessarily put it on your website either. How, somebody, that's okay. I'm gonna review back the chat. I'm like, oh my gosh, how do you keep the very responsive button on Facebook unless you're checking it 24/7? Any suggestions? So you guys, in all honesty, like the Facebook message bar on our pages, like we don't have that on. It can be very helpful and very responsive, but if you don't have the staff to be able to keep up with it, we keep that button turned off. So if you have direct messaging on, what we found was that sometimes, this is from an anonymous attendee, but what we found was that sometimes they'd be like, what time does the wrestling bus get back? And it's like 9 o'clock at night. How in the world are you gonna know? You're sitting at home with your family. How are you gonna know what time the wrestling bus gets back? Some cases, they've gotta call the school. They've gotta reach out directly. It's not like you can know everything, especially for the gal that has 17 schools, right? She's not gonna know everything. So you need to be careful. You can set your settings so that you don't have that messaging on. Messages, people cannot contact my page privately. So I've just got that turned off. I also turn off reviews because you're not really able to control that. Now it's up to you, but sometimes you'll have somebody commenting some really nasty stuff and you have no recourse or ability to moderate that at all. So I think that checking it before you go to bed, checking the page, checking it before you go to sleep at night, and then when you get up in the morning, and then you have periodic check-ins can really help make it where, again, you control social media and social media doesn't control you. You also need, you know, probably develop a team, other people to start. Okay, Facebook, everybody's top ones were Facebook. Where do we get all those great resources and tips? So Jennifer, you're gonna get emailed all of this. And then again, if you go to my resources tab, that will definitely help. So hopefully, and within this presentation, you guys, like all of these are linked. So you're just gonna link to it, and then you're gonna be able to watch this little tip. So hopefully that answers that. How do you get buy-in from some admins who may be old school and not on board with the more casual style of social media writing? Linda, that's a great question. So I think explaining to them the way in which people use social media, it's like we said, we're building relationships and it's people talking to people. And so it's not the formal way of writing. Now you can still share a link to a formal document, but you're going to say, check it out. And you know, this is full disclaimer. This is so like vulnerable, which we all got to get vulnerable. I'm not the best. I was a chemistry major, chemistry and business. I wasn't an English major. So, you know, I'm sharing these things. I do a lot of dashes, which aren't really like, you know, AP style or anything, but the more you write like you're talking, the better engagement you're going to get. Now, some of these things are going to be more formal, like a school board meeting, but otherwise, you know, we're writing in a celebratory tone. By the way, I love Grammarly. I will preach that all the time. Grammarly, it actually will tell me if my tone is happy or serious or whatever, and most of the time I'm going to use happy. So I don't know, Linda. I don't know if anybody else still on we still got over 100 people. What would you say, guys that are still listening? Please help Linda. What would you say to get buy-in from some admins who may be old school and not on board with more casual style of social media? Yeah, and I pay for the full service too. I like it because every week it tells me, oh my gosh, you've used more words, you know, more unique words than 80% of the people. I'm like, yeah, that's because I'm a little bit crazy. But Linda, I think it's just to show some examples and maybe even some examples of like reach and some of that engagement, like some of those fun ideas that I showed you, like check it out, or using emojis and all of that stuff. When you can show them comments and engagement, that might help. I always think that showing examples is best. Do you have people submit photos directly to your Facebook page in a comment, or do you ask them to submit an email? So this is a great question, Lisa. The easiest way, if you're doing a contest and you're like, hey, it's School Spirit Friday and we want you to share your post or your pictures. It can be a little bit dangerous, right, to open up comments to allow pictures. They can always comment. Okay, you can't shut comments off on Facebook, contrary to what some people think they still believe, but you can't. You can only block certain words, and you can try to block all common words, but their comment is still going to be seen by them and anyone they're friends with. But you can, I think it's easiest, Lisa, if you can allow them to put the picture in the comment. So it's right here under visitor posts, and you can edit that. You can see that right now I do allow visitor posts. It allows them to allow photo and video posts only, you know, under the comments. And what I recommend is that they could create a new post, like a new thread, but I have it click to review posts by other people before they're published to the page. I think that's easier if you're worried, or you've got people on your board or your leadership team that are worried about people just posting pictures, then you could have them email them. So whichever way you're more comfortable with, I think it's easier when they comment. But if you wanted to have some kind of contest and wanted it hidden until you like announced a winner or something, then you could always do it that way. But we had like a school spirit contest. And by the way, if you're ever on your Facebook page and you're looking for a specific post, you can just go to posts. This is another one of my K-12 PR tips, but we had a virtual spirit week. And so what we did here it is I was inspired by somebody else who created this type of thing where we circled each one, and then we opened it up. And so people were, oh, there's my girls who can't be serious, and they were on the deck. So we just opened up pictures and then did it that way. And then what I did was I pulled those pictures and I created another post where, like, here was when it was superhero day. And so then out of those pictures, I ended up creating a new post. So I hope that helps, Lisa. Dawn, how do I make sure I'm following the Twitter hashtags it is different than following a Twitter person. Yes, yes, it is, Dawn. So when you're on Twitter, you can type in any kind of a hashtag. I don't think, so hashtag school PR. You can follow hashtags on, so these are actual pages. You can follow hashtags on Instagram, just by the way. You can actually just follow a hashtag. But if you just type it in, then it's going to show up, okay? And it's, here's the top hashtags and here's the latest. So you might have your school hashtag. I don't know if it's Portage Proud or whatever, but like my hashtag Go Crickets for Joe Sanfilippo School District we serve in Fall Creek, they use Go Crickets. And then, you know, check this out. I can't believe that they don't have anything from today yet, but it is summer. So there's always stuff going on with the hashtag Go Crickets, and it's not just from the school's page, it's from other people's pages as well. But what you can also do, Dawn, is if you have a group of people in your district that are normally tweeting, and maybe hopefully they're using the hashtag, but if they're not, you can create lists. So here's some like lists of schools that I am following, and I'm going to add a bunch of them today. But if I just want to look at schools that I follow, I'm going to see all of them here, and then it might make it easy for me to retweet. Okay, so so that's really key. This is cute. So this, they to respect social distancing, they did a cutout, it looks like, of their superintendent, and they got pictures that way. So good job, Conrad Schools of Science. But that, hopefully that helps, Dawn. Yeah, it is different than following a person. We've got Kim, we got your page. Does membership allow multiple users to access content within the organization? Yes, absolutely. So you actually, I think I mentioned it, but you can have up to 3 people from your school district as part of our membership, and everything kind of lives inside of our Facebook page. But this is the great thing, Maria. So 3 people can actively be in the group, meaning they can ask their questions and, you know, do all of this. But if you watch a video, like a webinar or any of that, you actually can share it with anybody in your district. So I just want you to know that, you know, we did like using strategic marketing to recruit millennial teachers. Jason Wheeler's amazing. So if you watch that and you want to share that with your HR team, you can. All it is it's a Google link. And so I don't have this totally locked down like Fort Knox, because I just don't have the time and resources to be able to do that, and I trust people. But all of this is available here, and you can, if you want to, you can share it with other people. Beyond a logo, how to brand a school district. You might have a committee at your district that needs to watch that to really understand what goes into branding your school. You can totally share the video, the slides, everything. Will you put these dates on your events section of the crew group? Yes, Jamie, we will definitely get all of those added in, plus the login information. I think that's great. Emily will be adding all of those. Do most people create their own graphics, or do you just use templates? So Chad, that's a great question. We create a lot of our own graphics. I don't really love just templates in regards to like stock photos. People are going to be more engaged with pictures of your students, and so we create a lot of those. Now if it's a general like happy, you know, we don't say happy, but you know, in honor of Memorial Day. But I will say we do create customized things, and I shared the 8 of them that we make, like mark your calendar. Showed up over there. We'll create these ahead of time, so then they can all be branded. But then, you know, creating different graphics, obviously including pictures of our kids and things like that. So and just so you know, we have an awesome thing that we just announced. Well, this might be enough for you to like love this. So do you guys use Canva? Yeah, Jennifer loves Canva. Jamie does her own graphics. So what we just unveiled last month for our membership group, we actually have a template of sharing all of the graphics we create for our different schools. But then Chad, guess what? Like I just used this Believe in Yourself one for New Auburn, but here's a teaching as a work of heart. I can open that up, and then I use the template, and then guess what I can do? I can customize it. New Auburn is blue. There's my blue color. And then I can upload my own picture, and then I can put in my picture of my student, and oh, there's the hashtag. So I'm going to replace that hashtag. Look at how fast that was. And we're growing this. And so you guys, we use this for my business because we do 90 school districts and we got a team of 30. And then somebody's like, hey, Stephanie Sins, our brilliant chief people officer, was like, we should share that for our members. And so we did. And so it's just getting added to, but that's really cool. Katie, any recommendations on engaging ways to launch social channels and quickly gain an audience? Oh, Katie, such a great question, Katie. So we have a blog on, so if you go on to my blog, I think you're going to be able to just go into promote. It's got a bunch of ways. Some of them aren't going to maybe apply right now because like going back to school, we'll see how good I am at your school swag, which is another great way to encourage hashtags and all of that. So that's cool. 16 ways to promote your social media channels. And this I wrote back in 2015, Katie. But I'm telling you, staff email signatures, put it on the walls. We also now we put it on all of our door entrances where we'll put our hashtag and our Facebook and our Instagram and our YouTube handle. We talk about it when we are, in person. Local newspaper, any kind of newsletter, you should talk about it with your staff every single month at your meetings. So that would really, really be able to help you out. Any kind of communication. Hey, are you following us yet on Twitter or on Facebook? Athletic music programs, add a large poster. So there's all of those ideas, Katie. I hope that helps. And oh, Katie, you're still there, so that's good. I'm just gonna try to copy these in. We still got some folks hanging on, so I'm trying to get through all these questions. You guys are so patient. Posting to Facebook and Instagram, identical content on both platforms or differentiate content? Josh, I am so glad you asked this question. So first of all, I think everybody has a favorite social media platform, okay? And because of the Facebook algorithm, it's really hard to show up in people's news feeds or on their Instagram channel. Like for them to be able to actually see something on both Facebook and Instagram if they follow you on both places is very rare because, again, the Facebook algorithm. So I think posting similar information is fine. Now, Instagram is more visual, right? It's your best pictures. A lot of ours is dedicated to middle and high school students, but we do celebrate all students there. We sometimes, though, Josh, will cross promote channels. So what we might do is we might put 4 or 5 pictures from an event on Facebook, because that's usually where most of the content is. But then we'll say, for additional photos, visit our Instagram page to check out, more bonus photos or something. So then they'll go over to Instagram and hopefully like you there. So that's one way that you can, cross promote. But with Twitter, with Facebook, with Instagram, with LinkedIn, with YouTube, things are going to look a little bit different. But don't feel like you have to have completely different content because, again, if it's important for people to see it, everybody has their own favorite channel and they're not going to see everything on every channel just because they follow you in all places. And that's my opinion. I know that some people are like, why would I follow you on Instagram and Facebook if you just post the same content? Well, first of all, personal content is way more easier to see than a business type content that the school has. But your chances, we haven't gotten very many complaints. Well, I can say that we've gotten 0 of saying, oh my gosh, they just post the same thing on both channels. If you get that complaint, they're probably going to say that to themselves. So I hope that helps. Recommendations for social media staff guidelines, i.e. teacher comments on an official school post, positive, not positive. Okay. Kim, that's such a great question. You need to download our, specifically for that question, you need to download our, response guide. So where is it? This guide to responding online. Okay, just download this because this will actually has a flow chart, and it actually helps kind of break down when should you respond and when shouldn't you respond, and it helps all of your staff. So it's a little flow chart. I think that would help a lot to be able to provide feedback on that. And then, like I said, we've already got this one article. This may help, and so might the school board one, because actually, you know, both of them are a little bit related in regards to, hey, if you see something out there, do I comment or not? We have teachers with YouTube channels. Do you recommend we ask them for the native video instead of posting the YouTube link on Facebook? Yes. Yes, Tracy. So you need to ask for the native video. You can also strip out the video on their YouTube page. I'd have to Google it right now, but actually you don't have to download anything. I'm always afraid of getting like a virus on my computer. But you can Google like how to strip a video file out of a YouTube picture or YouTube, but I would recommend asking them for it. It's going to reach more people. If you can't, and that's all you got, then go with it, okay? But it is really recommended that you use the native video. It's going to reach way more people, I can guarantee it. All right, we got, how do you handle getting distance learning photos during remote learning if we go back there? Jennifer, what I recommend is actually having parents or teachers asking parents or students, hey, as you're working on a project, submit a photo to me, to the teacher, and then the teacher can then get it to you. Okay, that's what I would recommend. I know that there's been some concern with posting pictures of kids in their own homes and, you know, concerns with that. Of course, you better have an opt-in, opt-out program with your school as far as permission to post those, and you definitely want to be careful when you're posting pictures of students' homes or students in front of their homes. There's just a whole bunch of stuff to be a little bit concerned about, but that's how we've been doing it, is that staff is asking students and then the staff is actually submitting it to us. We are doing some spirit contests and things like that where, again, you may comment in, if you open up Facebook to allow comments to show photos, or you email them into you, you can definitely do that as well. But mostly it's been through the teacher's eyes, just because the teacher can then put some context of what the student's working on. Not just like, hey, we're doing homework. No, we're completing our butterfly lap book, and, you know, this student did all of this work, whatever. Tips to rein in coaches who go rogue with school branding. Oh, Kim, isn't that something? Well, one thing that I can recommend is if you can create some templates in regards for them to use, that would really help. I think somebody in our membership group just shared a branding guide, didn't they? They just shared a short one, I'm almost positive. And so, you know, looking at somebody else's short branding guide would be really, really helpful. But now, of course, I'm not going to be able to find it on the fly. But one of the things, Kim, is just to set up some kind of a guideline. And then if you could set up some templates, again, with every one of our school districts, we have some of these templates already made up, but then you create some blank ones, and then you explain, okay, you can use this if you need to create something, and then this is our official logo, right? And this is our, you know, so this is how we organize, by the way, all of our files. We have documents, we have graphics, we have logos, we have Throwback Thursday pictures. I didn't even talk about those today. So Kim, I hope that helps a little bit. Do you use Business Manager to manage your multiple pages? Megan, for the most part, we're managing one-off pages because I've got one district page for New Auburn. But if you have multiple pages, I would recommend using Business Manager. I think that's a great option for you to be able to look at things. And I've got inside of our membership group, we have a special session from, I think, Justin Albert, where he kind of dives into Business Manager, and we'll probably be diving into that more, but that's what we use. Did I miss it there, or is there a summer series? Jamie, there isn't a summer series this year for like the additional payment. It's inside the membership group or this webinar series, so there's nothing separate for that. I need help, not today, on alt text for photos. Okay, Cindy. Yeah, it's yeah, and it may be a future webinar blog. You know, accessibility is key, and I know that there are some of the platforms, and maybe even Twitter, that is now allowing you to put alt text to explain what's in the photos. So that is something worth talking about. I don't have any major tips off the top of my head that I can give you. You mentioned posting video once a week. Is there a time limit max you recommend for the video? Carmen, great question. I don't recommend a lot of 10-minute videos. They're probably not going to get watched. But all in all, it's hard to stand out. And so if you've got something to say, I say you need to say it. But shorter's better, as in not having an hour and 15-minute webinar when you said it was going to be half an hour. But I did pretty good, right, with the content I had. We're just diving into questions. I'm going to give myself some grace. You know, if it's a 30-second video, that's awesome. Like if that's what you need to be able to convey or, you know, share what's going on. If it needs to be longer, and people who want to watch your content are going to watch it. You know, a 3-minute video is fine. It needs to be as long as it can be. Is there a max? It just depends. But, you know, if you're sharing an hour video, you know, we shared just recently a 30-minute like award ceremony. Well, if somebody's holding on to watch their 5th grader get an award, they're going to wait till the end, right? Because they want to see that. So it really, really does depend. But I'd say anywhere from sometimes a 10-second video of, you know, something in super slow-mo, like in science class where they're watching something explode, to some kind of an obstacle course in Phi-Ed, to, you know, something a little longer that students are presenting, you know, poems that they wrote. And so maybe those are a minute or 2 long. So it just needs to be as long as it needs to be. I know that's not a good answer really, Carmen, but are images created in Canva fully accessible to those using a screen reader? Need to meet laws, and I've not found a way to add alt text to Canva yet. Well, I'm assuming, Erin, in Canva that you're downloading the picture and you're actually you would still need to add it within your website or your Facebook or Twitter page, and not necessarily Canva in general is my guess, but I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know that answer. We'll have to connect. If you find something out, let me know. Melissa, what are your thoughts on creating a Facebook group for school parents? I've heard conflicting opinions. Groups are great ways to connect with people. I don't, you know, Facebook groups are usually somewhat closed, and I honestly have not created, I think you can create a group off of your school page. I have not done it yet. All I'm saying is that with parents wanting to communicate, they'll usually set up their own. And sometimes they're not going to say such great things about your school, which is okay. Sometimes people are really concerned with, you know, listening, and listening is great, but sometimes you can spend all your time chasing the negative instead of, like my quote, which I didn't include in the slides, is we need to make the positive so loud that the negative is almost impossible to hear. So Melissa, I would just say, I don't have a firm, you know, answer on that. Maybe if anybody still is in the chat, they can chat whether they have a Facebook group, but I just tread lightly, because it's you don't have as much control over a group. Well, I guess if you start it, maybe you do, but sometimes they can get out of control. And like I said, some of those already have groups. Like if you have a soccer group, you know, they might have their own discussions just about the soccer schedule and the lack of soccer schedule or whatever. So I don't have any big opinion. Oh my gosh, you guys are so awesome. Still got 70 of you on here. I got through all the Q&As. I'm just trying to scroll back. Everybody will be getting this recording. They'll be getting the slides. They'll be getting the content, the links to be able to join our webinar pass to keep you connected. If you want to check out our membership program, you'll get that. You will have a little survey link right at the top where you can complete that to get a PD. And I really appreciate all of the information. And I also will be Oh my gosh, Cindy, you already got approval for the webinar pass. That's awesome. I'll also have the link to the chat roll to make sure that you have access to all of those other pages that you can follow that can be, you know, inspiring for you. Keep up the great work. If you just want to hear me again, join me again tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central Time, and hopefully I still have a voice, but I appreciate you guys tuning in. Have a great summer. Let these 5 tips help you, and ultimately they'll help celebrate the great things happening at your school. So we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.